At just 22, Andrés Iniesta had already lifted La Liga with Barcelona, yet the road ahead was anything but certain. A boy from the tiny town of Fuentealbilla, facing injuries, rejection, and the weight of expectation, he was about to confront heartbreaks that could have ended his dream before it truly began. But hidden in that struggle was the spark of something extraordinary, a quiet genius that would one day change football forever. And the moment that defined him, the one that would make the world remember his name, was still waiting to arrive. At just 12 years old, Andrés Iniesta left the quiet streets of Fuentealbilla for the buzzing intensity of Barcelona's La Masia Academy, carrying little more than a ball, a dream, and the weight of his family's hopes. Life in the academy was brutal. Long days of training, early mornings, constant evaluation, and the fear of failure that loomed over every session. Coaches noticed his technical brilliance early, but they also saw a boy who had to learn resilience quickly. Injuries, moments of self-doubt, and the pressure of competing against the country's best youngsters tested him constantly. And yet, Iniesta quietly absorbed every lesson, every critique, forging the foundation of a player who could one day dominate football's grandest stages. By the time he reached his mid-teens, Iniesta's style had begun to emerge. Calm on the ball, fearless in tight spaces, with a vision that seemed to anticipate the game before it happened. His peers noticed it, his coaches praised it, and whispers of a prodigy began to circulate throughout Barcelona. Even at a young age, Andrés had something different, Ricard would later reflect, acknowledging the foresight that made him stand out. It wasn't just skill, it was intelligence, spatial awareness, and composure that refused to be rushed. And while he was learning the game, the world outside La Masia could not yet see the quiet storm that was building. But brilliance never comes without struggle. Between 2000 and 2002, as Iniesta approached the edge of Barcelona's first team, setbacks arrived. A frustrating injury here, a tough loss there, and the constant question of whether he was ready for the top flight. Moments that could have broken another player only sharpened him. He watched, he learned, he adapted. The boy from Fuentealbilla was no longer just chasing a dream. He was preparing to seize it. And the heartbreaks he endured in these formative years would one day become the fuel for the greatest moments of his career. Breaking into Barcelona's first team in 2002 was a triumph, but it was only the beginning of a journey that demanded patience, resilience, and relentless focus. Iniesta was just 18, stepping onto a stage filled with legends like Xavi, Puyol, and Ronaldinho, where every touch was scrutinized and every mistake magnified. Early appearances in La Liga and the Champions League were brief, yet they revealed glimpses of the intelligence and composure that would later define him. Coaches noticed it immediately. Andrés didn't just play football, he understood it, Frank Ricard reflected. But while talent opened the door, Iniesta would soon discover that breaking through required more than skill. It required enduring heartbreaks that could test anyone's resolve. The heartbreaks came in quiet, often unnoticed moments. A missed pass, a last-minute loss, or an injury that kept him from crucial matches. Between 2002 and 2004, he experienced setbacks that could have derailed lesser players, including Barcelona's Champions League defeat in 2002 and periods of inconsistent form that made him question whether he could cement his place. At the same time, international pressure loomed. The early stages of his Spain career came with the weight of expectations from a team desperate to succeed, and early exits reminded him that even prodigies must face failure. Yet each disappointment became a lesson, each loss a step toward a player capable of extraordinary composure under pressure. By 2004-05, Iniesta began to emerge as more than a hopeful talent. He was becoming the player that Barcelona would build around. His vision, calmness under pressure, and ability to dictate tempo started turning heads, earning praise from teammates and opponents alike. Xavi said, "When Andrés has the ball, you feel safe. He sees things before anyone else does." Slowly, the quiet genius of Iniesta was taking shape. A midfielder who didn't just react but anticipated, who could change the course of a game with a single movement. And though the heartbreaks were far from over, the first sparks of legend were now visible to the world. By 2006-2008, Andrés Iniesta had fully transitioned from a promising talent into one of the most intelligent and influential midfielders in world football. Under Frank Rijkaard and later Pep Guardiola, Barcelona evolved into a team defined by precision, vision, and relentless creativity, and Iniesta was at its very core. He formed a symbiotic partnership with Xavi, controlling matches with an almost telepathic understanding while complementing Messi's genius in attack. His first major triumphs came with La Liga titles in 2004-05 and 2005-06, as well as his debut Champions League win in 2006, but these were merely the beginning. Coaches and journalists alike marveled at his composure. Iniesta is a player who sees the game in slow motion, Jose Mourinho once said, highlighting a rare intelligence that few could match. The 2008-2012 period cemented Iniesta as a generational talent. Barcelona dominated Spain and Europe, winning La Liga titles in 2008-09, 2009-10, and 2010-11, along with Champions League trophies in 2009 and 2011. His role went far beyond orchestrating play. He was the quiet engine behind every decisive moment. He scored crucial goals in finals, controlled games against the toughest opponents, and elevated those around him. Carlos Puyol reflected, "He makes everyone around him better without ever needing to show off." Beyond the club stage, Iniesta began shaping Spain's golden era, guiding them to Euro 2008 World Cup triumph that would define his international legacy. Even in these peak years, Iniesta faced heartbreak and near misses that fueled his resilience. Painful defeats in league and cup competitions, narrow losses in early Champions League campaigns, and the immense pressure of international expectations tested him repeatedly. Each setback strengthened his resolve, preparing him for the moments that would cement his legend, including the iconic goal that would make Spain world champions. Through this period, the boy from Fuentealbilla was no longer just a footballer. He was becoming an enduring figure in the sport, a player whose intelligence, humility, and brilliance would inspire generations to come. But even legends face moments that test everything they have built. For Andrés Iniesta, the pinnacle of both triumph and pressure came on the international stage. After navigating the heartbreaks of early exits and near misses, Iniesta finally etched his name in history at Euro 2008, orchestrating Spain's midfield with unparalleled vision and composure. His ability to control tempo, dictate the flow, and deliver in critical moments elevated Spain into a golden generation. Xavi reflected, "With Andrés in the middle, you felt nothing was impossible. He made the team better simply by being there." That triumph set the stage for the defining moment of his career, the 2010 World Cup. The 2010 World Cup final against the Netherlands remains one of football's most iconic moments, and Iniesta became the hero. Under immense pressure and with the weight of a nation upon him, he struck the winning goal that secured Spain's first ever World Cup. The strike seemed guided by destiny, turning all the injuries, setbacks, and doubts of his early years into a moment of universal triumph. Journalists, coaches, and fans lauded him. Iniesta doesn't just score goals, he writes history. That single moment immortalized him, not merely as a player, but as a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and quiet leadership. Meanwhile, back at Barcelona, Iniesta continued to dominate alongside Messi, Xavi, and Puyol. Between 2008 and 2012, the club claimed multiple La Liga titles and Champions League trophies, asserting their supremacy across Europe. Iniesta's influence went far beyond statistics. He was the heartbeat of a team that perfected tiki-taka, blending vision, movement, and unselfish play. Despite the glory, he remained humble, allowing his actions to speak louder than words. Through heartbreak, triumph, and the weight of expectation, Iniesta had become more than a footballer. He was a living testament that true greatness is forged through patience, resilience, and unwavering dedication to the team. As the years passed, the football world realized something profound. Andrés Iniesta wasn't just great, he was once in a generation. Even as age slowly crept in, his touch remained velvet, his calm unbreakable, his intelligence unmatched. When he stepped away from Barcelona in 2018, the Camp Nou rose in tears. Grown men cried, legends bowed. Commentators described it as the end of purity in football. Iniesta himself stood on the pitch, holding back emotion, saying only, "I gave everything." And he had more than trophies, more than goals, he gave football a soul. His journey didn't end there. Moving to Japan, Iniesta continued to inspire globally, showing that greatness is not defined by spotlight, but by consistency of character. Young players flocked to watch him train, amazed at how a 34-year-old moved with the grace of a dancer and the mind of a master. Every locker room he entered changed. Every teammate spoke about the same thing: his humility, his peace, his presence. Even in retirement, the world kept searching for the next Iniesta. But the truth became undeniable: there will never be another. Today, Iniesta stands as a blueprint for greatness built without ego. A reminder that football isn't only about power or fame, it's about intelligence, timing, sacrifice, and heart. His legacy lives in every silky midfielder who values thinking over running, set in every young kid who believes they can be extraordinary without shouting for attention. Andrés Iniesta didn't chase the spotlight, he became the light. And football has never been the same since. If this legend inspired you, hit like and subscribe so you never miss the next journey.